War Eagle, everyone. War Eagle, everyone. War Eagle, War Eagle. It's game day, B.
It is indeed.
It is game day, and we want to shout everyone out for jumping in. Also, man, y'all know what it is. The tailgate is going on as we speak, so we're kind of split up in different ways. Mike G is in Auburn, but he's in the press box. This is his first time getting in the press box, so he's there. Ike is actually still at the tailgate, meeting and greeting people. So hopefully, guys, you're on your way there if you're heading there. So you're not seeing us. We were there earlier. Shout out to those of you who stopped by.
Yeah, everybody. We saw like so many people, man.
It was good
Glad to
seeing
see
everyone.
y'all.
I see some of y'all in here as well. I mean, we saw Corey, we saw Ed Darby, we saw Auburn Dad, we saw, of course, Walt came by. Many people stopped by who watched the show and support. So we want to thank you guys for definitely supporting and hollering at us. But now it's on to the game, B. We got to talk about this game, man. Has anything changed for you? How are you feeling about this matchup between the number 2 Georgia Bulldogs and Jordan-Hare? How you feeling?
I am more confident today than I was on Wednesday. And I can't tell you. So I'm thinking about our defense against their offense. And that gives me some confidence. I don't think their offensive line is probably definitely going to be the best offensive line that we have seen to date. I don't think we've faced an elite offensive line yet. But I think our defense is getting better. They've been getting better every week. And I'm encouraged by that. And now when I look at that, the thing we haven't talked about much, which is the reason that we gave the picks we did on Wednesday, is that our offensive line against an elite defensive line with guys at every position along that defensive line that can create pressure, not just from the edges, but in the middle. That scares me. That's what scares me, because we have kept 2 tight end sets pretty much the majority of each of our offensive sets. We've had 2 tight ends on the field to supplement. But, man, Georgia, if they don't need to send a 5th guy to get pressure on us, we are in trouble. If they can get pressure with their front 4, it is going to be a very, very long day. And that is what scares me, because maybe they can, and now the coaches have to kind of go into emergency mode to cook something up, to generate offense, to manufacture it. And maybe they don't. And then it's a game. And I am really interested to see if we can block their front without them sending pressure. If they have to blitz to get pressure on Bo, then we've got a game, because somebody's going to be open. Somebody's going to be open. So,
see people shout out to you, Spicy Penguin. You just put it Papo's out. We was hoping that he'll be able to play this today and come back and be able to help out. We know how valuable it is having Ricochet Rabbit in there, basically directing the defense, being the quarterback of that defense, man. So Kobe McClain, we know how key it is to have him there. Papo being out, does that make you feel less confident about what the defense can do, or you still feel the same?
I still feel the same, because Zacoby being out and then being back in was the difference maker instantly. We saw that in Georgia State. We've never had a more clear distinction. Can one player make that big of a difference? Absolutely. But that player isn't Papo. That player was Zacoby McClain. It's not that we won't miss Papo. You got talent, speed, strength in the guy. You want him on the field. But I think Zacoby is the key for our defense, being as far as the linebackers. Absolutely. I would rather, if I had a choice, I want Papo, sure. But if you telling me I get to choose one, then I want McClain instead of Papo.
Also, too, CM Pat just said that they just said JT Daniels is starting. I guess they announced him as a starter for this game. And one of the things that I mentioned was that if he's not playing, and we know that their backup QB, they don't throw the ball a lot when he's playing with them. But does that change? That obviously changes the game plan. And if you're Auburn, what do you do differently defensively against a JT Daniels-led offense in Georgia?
Man, now you've got to be a little more attentive on the back end. Now you've probably got to play a little more zone. You could probably get away with playing more man if what's the short guy? That's not disrespectful. Bennett. There we go. If he's playing, they don't trust him to throw. So you can press these receivers a little bit, man. You can get physical and you can get a little risky. But if you have a guy back there who can actually chuck it 35 yards accurately, then it's a little dicey proposition. Then we have to get zone to cover their receivers if we think they're going to be a threat. And then we give room to a running game of theirs that has been productive. But we don't. It makes me wonder, with JT Daniels being questionable during the week, do you even risk him by maybe he just executes a Stetson Bennett play and just hand it off some, man? We just need to scare them by putting the guy with the big arm back there. And that may be what this is.
Yeah.
I don't know yet.
Darren, shout out to you becoming a new member, man. Welcome to the War Report family.
Hold up. This is the guy, when I started on campus as a student employee in 2003, this is the guy that hired me. He was my boss up until he retired in 2019. He was my boss for over 16 years. And this is my guy. Thank you, Darren, for coming in and watching and becoming a member of War Eagle, man.
War Eagle. I just think that your MO is still to stop the run. Right. You don't want Georgia to feel like they can do to us what they did to Arkansas, because if they're able to run the ball that effectively, it doesn't matter who your quarterback is. Right. So what you still want to make, I think your game plan is still the same. I think you get them out of their comfort zone of relying on the run, make it tough for them to run the ball, and make them beat you through the air. If they beat us through the air, then they beat us through the air. But what we will not and should not allow them to do is beat us on the ground. I think that your game plan defensively still remains intact. If it's Stetson Bennett, I like our chances of actually frustrating Georgia's offense altogether. Right. But yes, I just think that that does change things with JT Daniels being in there. So
yeah, it does.
Yeah, man. Yeah, So who are some guys?
So wait, you asked me, are you feeling differently about the game since Wednesday?
I still feel the same. The same as I did. I still felt the same even before they announced that JT Daniels was a starter for Georgia. I still feel the same. I'm just curious to see what Auburn does differently. Mike G said it on Wednesday. This is about Brian Harsin and the coaching staff.
Absolutely.
It's up to them to take advantage of whatever weaknesses there are. And I know many people all week we've been hearing about there's no weaknesses on Georgia's defense. And up until this point, they haven't shown much weakness. Right. But those guys get paid millions of dollars. They get paid a lot of money to find weaknesses week after week. And so the confidence and the hope is that they're able to see something on film. They're able to exploit a weakness. They're able to attack. And one of the things that has been noted is that when you look at Georgia's opponents, they've played offenses that haven't been able to test them vertically or test them through the air. And I'm not saying that Auburn is going to be different, but that is something to note, that there could be a vulnerability there. And so I'm just curious about the game plan. I'm not sure if you have the same game plan today that you had against LSU. I think that's something that we've clearly talked about. But
yeah,
I wonder who's going to emerge today. I mean, Tank got 9 carries last week. We've mentioned that things just didn't seem right with Tank. I mean, I felt that something's up with him in terms of from a health standpoint. Can't substantiate that, but something has to give in terms of someone stepping up offensively. And I don't want a lot of the pressure that was on Bo last week to be on him this week. We got to be able to do something effective on the ground. So I'm hoping that we see Tank get some productivity. I'm hoping that we see Hunter get some carries, Shivers coming out the backfield with passes. Just what are some things that you think that we can do to kind of keep Georgia balanced today? What are some things like maybe screens? What are some things that you're looking to see out of a called game from Harsin?
Well, we saw some pass action against LSU. We saw some boot. We saw some screens. Jarquez had a really good screen catch. They're going to have to do it all, and I think there's some strategy to showing those things the game before we play Georgia. Mm-hmm. You've got to get them ready to see anything. I mean, if you had just watched us week 1 through 4, then you think, I mean, they're not going to pass it downfield with any proficiency. So we can load the box and make it difficult, because really that's exactly what had happened to us. And Georgia State proved, even with subpar talent, If all you guys are going to do is let Bo throw and we can just load the box against your running backs, then we don't have to worry about anything. We're just going to make this guy have to throw. He's not Joe Montana, man. Yeah. He's not Peyton Manning. We think, based on what we saw, that he started to read and diagnose a little bit better against LSU, because you still have to know what you're looking at with those running plays. Now, they got him out of harm's way intentionally, but we've talked about it. That unlocks something with Bo. So the question is, even if he's not scrambling to that effect, is there anybody else who, on the offense, 5 drop passes, man, maybe we win 31-19 if those receivers don't drop those passes. I don't think it has to be any one guy. Schenker is almost a deadlock. He did drop one, but he's almost a deadlock to catch that ball. He's going to be open. He knows how to get to the ground to make those catches. I'm kind of penciling Schenker in as a check mark. Like, I'm counting on him to be himself. One of these wide receivers is going to have to show up and dependably get open, read the defense the same way Bo is reading the defense, and make the catch. It has to happen if we're going to move the ball against this defense.
Yeah, I'm expecting a big game from Tyler Fromm, actually, because if I'm Georgia, I'm blanketing Schenker. I'm covering Schenker because he has been a big target from Bo Nix the past several games. So I'm pretty sure Georgia is basically keeping an eye out on him. And as we like to use multiple tight end sets, it's time for another tight end to emerge in this offense, as well as a receiver as well. Also, shout out to you, Dorian Hurd. You just posted they interviewed Kirby, and he said it'll likely be Bennett getting the start. So we'll just see. We'll just see. It was announced JT Daniels. Kirby saying it's Bennett. We'll know when they march out the first team who's going to be the QB. We'll find out at that moment. So
yeah, let me get this right. Hold up. Darren, he's got a son. It's Darren Jr. So it's Darren Jr. I met you. I actually got to sit next to him at, was it the LSU game? You have to tell me if it was the LSU game, D. But that's who it is. But still, that's my boss's son. I appreciate you dropping in, man, and becoming a member. Thanks, D.
So Ike is and Ike is still out of the tailgate, as he wants people to know.
Yeah, he's out.
So there. I guess people are asking where he is. Ike will probably be more likely to join us around halftime and post game. So that's that. Also, if you guys have noticed that it's only, of course, for game day experience, we only allow it to where only insiders can actually comment and actually interact with us. But everyone can watch. But if you want to get in on the conversation, here's what you can do, guys. Become an insider. $5.99 will get you there, and it gives you access to some exclusive content. As you all know, one of the biggest things that people have been raving about during the course of this season has been WTF, which is Watch the Film. We also have been doing giveaways. We've been giving away tickets to the following game. Shout out to past winners who've been able to win tickets to Auburn home games. So those are just one of the perks that you get access to, as well as an opportunity to come out here and celebrate when Auburn is doing well during these live videos, or vent your frustrations as well if Auburn isn't doing so well. We're a community. We welcome it all, but become an insider. $5.99. That will get the job done for you.
Yes,
now,
sir.
Who are some players on defense? Who are some players on defense outside of McClain? Let's talk about secondary wise.
Yeah, for sure.
Who are some guys in the secondary that you're looking for, B? What's a guy that you're dependent upon to have a big game for us?
Jalen Simpson showed up last week in a way that I was so happy to see. Now, they are running man more often than I thought they were. They're mixing their coverages up, and I think that's necessary. They still have to be able to run zone, because we're going to face some teams, Ole Miss, Bama, where they're too prolific. You're going to get beat over the top playing man, and you're going to have to be able to go to zone to slow teams down, to make sure they can't get the entire length of the field quickly on you. And zone is necessary. So they started off in zone. We got burned in zone. We know what our record was looking like those first 3 weeks as far as the percentage of completion for the opposing quarterbacks. It was bad. They're getting better now. They're going to more press in certain situations. Jalen Simpson is that guy. McCreary is that guy. So now we've got 2 guys. Now, they move Smoke down into the box with some consistency in the second half. I think that was necessary because Smoke was as he was transitioning to that zone, he was having a little trouble back there. All right. I'm glad we have been running a couple of different guys at safety, so we've got somebody that can be in that spot, whether it's Puckett or Tennyson back there. We've got some guys who can fill in.
Yeah.
And I really like Simpson being back with the mentality that he has, the tackling ability that he has. I think we've got what we need back there. I'm not too worried about their passing game, but if you're gonna have a guy like what's his name, JT Daniels, maybe now maybe we do need to have our sharpest game in the secondary because they're not all world. They're not gonna light it up. JT Daniels isn't the best quarterback ever, even though he kind of got that hype at the beginning of the season. But I still want our best guys back there to cover him. So yes, Simpson being back, he was injured early. He's back. He's been rounding into form. I'm absolutely thrilled that he's back there, and I hope that Smoke can get better at coverage. He's got to be great at coverage. We can't hide you in the box. Now we'll need him in the box this game because they're going to be running it. But for games going forward, he's going to have to get more sound about his read and his tackling instead of hitting back there in the secondary. But Simpson being back, I think, fills it out back there, and I think we're in good shape.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go with Smoke with that in that regard. Like, what do we do with Smoke? What will Smoke do today? And it's obvious he may come down and be defending the tight end as he did against LSU. They do have a very talented tight end, as it was alluded to by Paul on this last week's Wednesday Night War Room. But I'm interested to see how he plays. So I think that's a big thing about him too. We know he's going, when it comes to run defense, we know what Smoke is capable of. That's where he's comfortable. But Georgia's going to always try to expose what we're not good at. So is Smoke going to be out there on obvious passing downs, or how is he going to look when it's a passing situation? So that's one of the things that I'm looking to see how he plays. I will echo your sentiments about Simpson. I am happy to see him back, and it was just a beautiful thing seeing him tackle in open space and play the way he's been playing. So that's just something that stands out to me. Blake Robinson, appreciate you. War Eagle, gentlemen, maybe one day I will get to attend one of y'all's tailgates, but I will continue doing what I'm doing, what I do on here. Much love always, man. Appreciate you hanging out with us, period, man. Whether it's tailgate or on our live shows, man, you're always here with us. So shout out to you. Shout out to everyone else who's spending your Saturday with us, pregame, halftime, and postgame. So shout out to you guys. So let's talk about pass rush. Talk about pass rush here. So I don't know what's the deal with our guy here. We're hearing compliance issues.
Yeah, that's been
with
crazy,
Moultrie,
man.
with TD. It was out of left field. I don't know if it's, and some of us was talking at the tailgate. We don't know if it's grades, if NIL. I don't know. People asking us. We don't know. And they've been pretty mum on what the issue is. But one of the things about this particular position is that we were pretty deep here. So it's not like we've taken a step back.
Yeah,
I've been very pleased with Aku Leota. He had an amazing game. Who are you expecting? And it's obvious we're going to need a pass rush in this game, right? And hopefully we're able to do it. We'll have some similarity, some similar performance like we did against LSU, even though we know Georgia has a pretty talented O-line. Who are you expecting to get up and to get in the backfield and hopefully disrupt the timing of Georgia's offense today, B?
I think I'm looking for Aku Leota. For sure looking for him. But on top of that, I want to see Romello Height make some plays, man. He's been flashing. Okay. He's been flashing. I like him at outside linebacker. I like him, his speed coming off the edge. I think we need that. I don't think you're going to bull rush your way to a quarterback sack with this team. They're too big. They're too strong up front. But you can absolutely bend that curve and get around them, because what they haven't played, Georgia, on top of playing any offense that's great, they haven't played a defense that can get after them.
Right.
We would be the best run defense that Georgia's seen this season by far. We would be I don't know. Well, no, they didn't play. Yeah, we would be the best pass rushing team. Now, we don't have the most sacks, but we create a lot of pressure. We have created a lot of pressure up to this point this season. And it's going to be a bit of a brand new thing for them. They played a true neutral site game against Clemson, which wasn't a road game. Their other road game was Vandy. which that's not really a road game because I mean, hey, you might as well just get the welcome wagon going to Vandy to play football. It's like a social event for them. It's not even a real thing. So this will be the toughest environment, the toughest front seven that they have faced this season by a long shot. And even if you're really, really good, you got to get tested. And if you haven't been tested, you can get shaken up a little bit. And not that you're scared or nervous, but we can create some pressure that you haven't seen. We've got the athletes to create some havoc that you have not seen yet. And I think we've got a shot to do that, man. Our defense are not slouches. Our coverage will be the weakest part of our team. But if Stetson Bennett's playing, and I saw on the chat, we were kind of going back and forth to trying to figure out if JT Daniels is actually starting or not. But if it's Stetson Bennett, then I really like our chances to hold them down. That we got a great chance to do that. I really want to see Leota and who did I say? Romello Height. Get some. I want to see them get a sack or two, man. Just we got a shot. We got a shot here. I really like those guys. So
I want to see what Kobe does, man, up front as well. I want to see him. I want to see Harris. Like they've been quiet since Harris has been a little quiet. He's been known to get some pressure, especially during his times at Kansas. So I'm curious to see what the guys in the front four do in terms of generating some of that pressure, so that hopefully when it is passing situations, man, we don't have to blitz a guy. We can just rely on the front four to get pressure. Just let's hang out with some of our folks in the comment section. Richard Montgomery says, "Sunshine punt. We're going to shock the world today. 2 pick sixes."
Wouldn't that be nice?
I received that. I hope that takes place. William says, "War Eagle in the house. I'm choosing Auburn Tigers, unlike the host of the
William. Hey, man, listen. You go, and I'll make my appeal after you make yours.
Listen, I picked Georgia, but I'm still rooting Auburn. Okay, all right. Look at the shirt. Like I'm rooting, but I'm just on paper. Georgia looks strong, so I'm expecting a good game from Auburn. I want to see Auburn make Georgia look vulnerable. Yes. I think that's the goal. If Georgia looks vulnerable in this game, then I have to give kudos to this coaching staff for having us prepared for the player. The players are always going to be up for it because we have so many players from the state of Georgia who gets up for this game. This is their Iron Bowl. So if the coaching staff puts together a great game plan, if they have those guys ready to play, I'm expecting a good game from Auburn. And I'm not expecting us to lie down to Georgia at all. I'm expecting us to hit them in the mouth. So what do you got on that, B? Now you wanted something you wanted to say as well.
Objectively, it doesn't make sense to assume something that you haven't seen yet. Have we seen our offensive line play stellar? We have not. Have we seen Bo play a perfect game from the pocket? We have not. And I don't think we're going to be able to get away with what we did at LSU against Georgia. LSU has some good rushing ends, but they are not a stout defensive front. Mm-hmm. Their linebackers make mistakes a lot, and we were able to take advantage of some of those. LSU has its problems, and we know that. That's why Coach O was on the hot seat. This team, defensively, their front seven is the best front seven we're going to see all year, and they might be the best front seven in football. Our offensive line has made great strides this year, but we are suspect at a couple of spots, and we saw Troxel have some trouble at LSU and at Penn State as well. I don't think this is the defense that you go in there with a known weakness and expect to do something that you have never done before. And that's the reason for the picks. I don't want to sound pessimistic. If I could change it, I would probably say 20 Georgia to 10 Auburn instead of 24, because I think they're going to have trouble scoring. But if their defense can get their offense some 50-yard fields, some 40-yard fields, it's so much easier to get 15 yards to kick a field goal or a 30-yard touchdown drive. And their defense is good enough to make that happen. Because remember, we have not thrown down the field with any consistency whatsoever this season. And unless we can do that, and if we can do that, completely changes the game. It completely changes the dynamic of the game. If we can make some 15, 20, 25-yard completions on this defense, and they have to back up and give us a little bit of room, completely different game. We have not done that. The best game Bo Nix ever played was last week. He had 5 drops.
Yeah.
And because of those drops, he was barely over 50%. If we come out here dropping passes for the gainers that will actually make that defense back up, we are in trouble because we got to make those.
Execution is the key for this game today. Jerome Marshall, you're absolutely. Hey, Bobo has to call an incredible game.
He does.
This is again, this game is going to be about our coaching staff. What are they going to come up with? And then, granted, you mentioned it. Execution is the key to it. If a guy's open and Bo gets you the ball, you got to come down with it. If you're able to get your hands on it, come down with it. So I'm interested to see, man, how this game looks. I do have some announcements. I do want an announcement I do need to make. B, do you have any final points about this game and about kind of what you're expecting to see?
Man, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. The biggest part of this game, and I think we all know this, is Brian Harsin. This is his chance. He was at Boise begging his administration to put their hat in the ring to get into the Big 12, to get into the Big 10. He wanted to play with the big boys. All right, dude, you are here. There's no bigger scale than the SEC playing the number one teams on the schedule, the number 2 teams on the schedule, and at least 3 other teams we play are going to be top 20. You are here. He has something to prove, and I think we saw that by him pulling Bo Nix against Georgia State. He's like, no, I'm not really willing to let you tank the season. You need to get the picture here. He pulled him. It appeared to have a great effect on him. I think he has something to prove, not just as Auburn and because it's his team, himself. And I think that's still a great motivator. Hopefully, he shows us something. He puts that in the players because, man, players take on the identity of their head coach.
For sure.
So we're going to see something about Brian Harsin today in big games, and I'm really looking forward to that.
I'm just eager to see these players. We got the coaching staff that's no nonsense. Harsin is a no nonsense coach, and he's preaching accountability. Just do your job, work hard, work. That's been the motto since he's touched down. But these players understand how big this game is. These players have played ball with those guys at Georgia, coming up through high school and whatnot. They know those guys, and so they want to beat them. And so they're going to be up for this game. Is the game plan sufficient to put our kids in the best position to go out and compete and win this game for us? That's the question, because we know these guys are going to give their all. They're going to give their best effort, but will these guys be put in position to do just that? That's what we're going to wait to see, y'all. Listen, it's almost time. I do have an announcement. If you're watching and you've been to our tailgate, a lot of you guys stopped by and you took a lot of photos of us or with us. Listen, we are giving away a grill, guys. You know we're the king of giveaways, all right? We give away mugs, T-shirts, whatever, tickets, but we're giving away a grill courtesy of University Ace Hardware. So here's how you can enter to win. So we want you to post a photo of yourself, preferably one that you partook with us in the War Report, at the tailgate on social media. Doesn't matter which social media. If it's Facebook, Twitter, IG, post a photo of yourself at the tailgate on social media. That's the first thing you got to do. Second thing we need you to do is to tag the War Report, which means you got to follow us on social media of your choice, okay? Follow us and tag us in that photo. The third thing you got to do, tag University Ace Hardware as the location in the photo that you're taking, okay? So you post a photo of yourself, tag the War Report, but also as your location, tag University Ace Hardware as your location on the photo. Then, good luck. All right. Y'all know how we do. We do drawings.
I love that being a step. Good luck. That's a step.
We do drawings, so it's random. We're going to do it the same way we do other drawings. We will let you guys know. We may do it later. I don't know if we're going to do it later today, but we're going to do it at a later time to let you guys know who won that grill. So be sure to follow those steps, and good luck to you guys. Thanks to everyone who's joining us live for this. We'll see you at halftime. But also, thanks to those who stopped by.
For real.
The tailgate, and it's still ongoing, man. We love you guys. It means a lot that you guys came out, and a lot of y'all came through and hollered at us. So thanks to you guys. Listen, War Eagle, going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to it, guys. We will see you at the half.
Where you going?
Appreciate it, Scotty.